views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Before we get into the attendance and the agenda as a whole, I just want to remind everybody that, we are coming close to the end of the census, which is only days away. But I want to remind everyone that it is not too late. We have not, we're not yet at the end. It is still possible to self respond. And so we're asking you, if you know someone who has not done it, or you have a neighbor, or you're just out in the community, as everyone here is, please continue to encourage this, because we know that the Bronx has been so terribly underserved in so many ways. We've seen the effects of that in the disparities of resolutions of the COVID virus, and even though New York City and the Bronx are doing better than we were doing, we know that some of the issues that we have could have been different, based on our representation, based on our being counted. And so we want to make sure that we try to do better for the next 10 years, because that's the other thing. This is for 10 years. This count is important, not just for today, but for the next 10 years. And we could be terribly stuck in a position where we are again underserved, undercounted, and then underserved because of our numbers being in the shadows. That's my never-ending speech about the census and the Bronx as a whole, that we need to stand up and be counted and be noted. And so just throwing that out there as a last moment appeal to everyone to make this last week of the census a push, and that you guys are really working to, as much as you can and as much as you have always, to make sure the Bronx is counted. So that's that. Thank you so much. At this time, I'll just, we'll do our basic roll call attendance, and we'll go by community board, starting with community board 1. And you guys, what comes after 1. So if that's you, let's be, unmute yourself and just be ready to acknowledge, and then we can just move on. Community board 1.
Morning, Deputy Borough President Cedric Lawson, District Manager, Bronx Community Board 1.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Community board 2.
Good morning, Madam Deputy. Ralph Acevedo, District Manager, Board 2.
Thank you. Community board 3.
Since John is not responding, I'll respond on his behalf. Dr. Bruce Rivera, Chair.
I'm sorry, I am present. It's just that I was muted at the moment. Welcome. I'm present. John Dudley here and accounted for. Thank you.
Thank you both. Thank you both. I was just about to suggest that someone was on mute, as I was. You were the second person to make that virtual era today. So Community Board 4.
Good morning. It's Elizabeth Gonzalez on behalf of Paul Phillips, our District Manager for Bronx Community Board 4.
Thank you. And Community Board 5.
Thank you. Good morning, Deputy Borough President and everyone. Good to see you all. This is Ken Brown, District Manager for Bronx Community Board 5.
Thank you, thank you. And Community Board 6. Giving it a little extra time for someone to unmute themselves. Okay, moving along, Community Board 7.
Hi, everyone. This is Emmanuel Martinez, Chair, Community Board 7.
Thank you, Chair. Community Board 8.
Good morning. This is Laura Spalter, Chair, Community Board 8.
Good morning. This is Kira Gannon, CB8 District Manager.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you. Community Board 9. And Community Board 10.
Joseph Russo, Chair, Community Board 10. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Community Board 11. And last but not least, Community Board 12.
Good morning. This is George, District Manager of Community Board 12.
Good morning, George. Always a pleasure.
Indeed.
And our council representatives from Councilwoman Ayala's office.
Yes. Gloria Cruz with Councilmember Diana Ayala. Hi, everyone.
Good morning. Councilmember Cohen. Councilmember King. Councilmember Jonai. Councilmember Cabrera. Councilmember Torres.
This is Joseph McManus. As you can see, Marika, in the back, I got a 10. That 10 was for the census in 2010. So
all right.
I've been helping and trying to make sure that we're all counted. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And Councilmember Gibson. Councilmember Salamanca. And Councilmember Diaz Sr. All righty. So thank you so much for that and your patience as we went through the roll call. And now we'll just jump into our agenda, which is we have 2 presentations, but they promise to be very informative. So we're just going to jump right in. We're going to hear from Michael Sharp from the New York City Department of Finance, speaking about lien sales and other updates. At this time, I just want to remind everyone about our procedure in terms of questions. So we'll have the presentation. Mr. Sharp will give his presentation, and then you will raise your hands, and I will reach out to Chris, and I'll say, do you see any hands? And he'll tell me if you want to put a question in the chat, you can do that also. That will be monitored also by Chris. And as a reminder for those on the phone, it's *9 to raise your hand. You'll hear a prompt, *9, and it will indicate that your hand is raised. Please remember, once you have acknowledged and your question has been answered, to hit *9 again and take your hand down. Also, if you're using the computer, just remember to take your hand down. Your question has been answered. Okay. And so without further ado, I'll turn your attention to Mr. Michael Sharp from New York City Department of Finance. Thank you.
Good morning, all. Thank you to the Borough President's Office and the community boards and elected officials here present. We're happy to be here today to speak to you about lien sale and other updates from the Department of Finance. There's been a lot of discussion about the lien sale of late, and you might say that the laws and the different factors that might put a property eligible for a lien are quite complex. But what we hope to do today is to show that removing a property from the lien requires maybe a few simple steps, a few basic things you would need to know. So the idea today is I want to show you what options you have and what actions you need to take or could take even as soon as today to remove your property from the lien sale. So we'll just talk about some basic things, what it is, a little bit about the process, but mainly how to avoid it, how to remove your property from it. To do this, we're going to use our website. So you probably won't be looking at me most of the time. You'll be looking at the website as we go through and touch on a few basic things. And here's the idea. The website has so many resources if you know where to find them or to know to go there, where you can get answers, where you can get just the next steps to protect your property or help someone else protect theirs from the lien. So if we can go to the website right now, Chris, and we'll sort of talk through that.
Yep.
Yes. Very familiar with this is Department of Finance website. If you just scroll down a little bit, you'll see the top of the page. Just want you to see what it actually looks like. Here it is, Department of Finance. A lot of times when we come to speak to you, we are speaking about that tab in the middle, ways to save, because we go through a lot of different money saving tips there. But what we're going to do today is drop down a little bit where you see those 4 pictures running across. The second one from the left talks about getting help regarding the lien sale. So we're going to click into that and we'll see a few things there that are pertinent for us. Now, the lien sale usually takes place in May, but because of everything that was happening, it has been postponed. The date that was mentioned was in September, and then it's been moved back. We're not going to focus on the actual date today, but the key thought is take steps right now to remove your property. Regardless of what the date ends up being, there's things you can do right now to help yourself. So basically, what is the lien sale or lien on what is the lien sale? When you have back owed taxes or water debt or even repair charges that go unpaid, the city can place a lien on those amounts and sell those liens in an effort to collect those funds. Now, the liens aren't sold to anyone that comes along and bids. There's a nonprofit trust that pays for those, and then they hire 2 entities to do the lien or the collection of the funds. So one of the things you hear all the time is that just random people will be taking this debt and trying to collect it. That's not true. There's a set arrangement for the debt collection, and it's controlled by the city. There's only 2 vendors that are handle that. And so the key thing is now, what can you do if you found yourself on the lien or have a lien eligible property? What can you do? Well, you've perhaps been getting notices from as many as 120 days before. There's notices that go out 90, 60, 30. The property BBLs or addresses are published at the 10-day notice. And there are also robocalls that you may have been receiving. But there are 3 basic ways that you can remove your property from the lien sale. And we'll go into it a little bit more detail. If you drop down a little bit more on this page, go down a little bit lower, you're going to see some of the information. That's good. You'll see some of the information that's available to you. First of all, properties that are on the lien sale or eligible for the lien sale are published on the website. This was a list that was published a while back. You can see it was updated as of August 17th. Many thousand names are on this list, but now it's down to between 4,000 and 5,000 properties. And so the numbers have been steadily going down. But what can you do to remove your property from the lien sale? Three things basically. First of all, you can pay the qualifying amount. That's the amount that is back owed that qualified you for the lien sale. You can do that online, right here at the Department of Finance website. You drop down a little lower. And you can see that, oh, I'm sorry, go up a little bit. I'm sorry, all the way up to the top. There are, you can see WWNYC Pay. I actually have a little button that's blocking mine. But yes, NYC Gov, City Pay. In this particular tab, if you go there and enter in your borough block and lot number, not only can you find out the qualifying amount that you would need to pay to get off the lien, but the arrangements can be made right there to actually make the payment. There's also a telephone method in which you can pay as well. Calling in, and we'll get that number for you before we'll put it in the chat before our meeting is out. And someone will assist you in paying that amount. Here we are at the City Pay. And the third choice down, you don't need to have register or have an account or anything. You can select that and put your information in and find out what you need to pay and make the arrangements to pay. In the little box below there, it says choose a payment. You can even go down and find a connection to the water department, because water is also something that will put you on the lien, and it'll direct you to where you need to go to make a payment. So if you can use a debit or credit card if you're able to do that, can make a payment and get yourself removed from the lien. And that's fine if you happen to have the funds necessary. What if you don't? Let's go back, arrow back to the page and where we were. And you have, as we go back again, as we scroll down, you'll see a section that says payment plans or payment arrangements. Now, there are two types of payment arrangements you can make. There's the standard payment arrangement, and you can have as little as $0 down or as much as you can spare at the moment to coming to a payment arrangement. It can last up to 10 years or as little as 3 months. The idea here is you're going to schedule the payments in a way that can manage or fit your budget. This year, with COVID being what it is, the interest rates have been lowered for this year. So it's actually a good opportunity to take advantage of this if this is an option you feel that's available to you. There's another type of payment arrangement also called the PTA agreement, and there are 3 different types of PTA agreements. There's a senior, low-income senior arrangement, and if you are 65 years of age or older, your income is $58,399 or below, and this is your primary residence, you may qualify to enter into this arrangement. It defers the payment, your back payment of taxes, and even some of your future taxes until the time, so in the future where perhaps this property changes hands. And so many seniors who are planning to live in this home and stay there and are deeply in debt with these charges have opted for this payment, as it just defers the payments down the road. There is also a low income arrangement, another plan. You may not be a senior, but you do need help in limiting the payments for back taxes. And it will put a ceiling on it to 8% of your income. And so this way you can pay under this arrangement and the charges can be deferred down the road. And finally, there's extenuating circumstances. This year, everyone's come under some kind of difficulty. And so you would submit this application, which would be reviewed and be subject to approval. But if you've had extenuating circumstances, perhaps the death of an owner, maybe one of the owners have been ill and unable to work, or you've had other financial reverses, you can make a request to arrange your payments under this and have it removed from the lien sale. Just to go up a little bit in the website, just a little, you see another option, and this is the last option, exemptions, property tax exemptions. Now, there are 3 property tax exemptions that will remove you from the lien sale. There's the senior citizen homeowner benefit. If you are 65 years of age or older, your income, once again, is $58,399 or less, and this is your primary residence, you may qualify for this exemption. Now, this will not only remove you from the lien sale this year, but as long as you qualify for this exemption, your property won't go on the lien sale. And not only that, you can save between 5 and 50% of your property taxes if you qualify for this on an ongoing basis. There's the disabled homeowners benefit, which also will remove you from the lien sale. Similar income requirements, but in this case, you have to be receiving a disability compensation or receiving disability benefits. And lastly, there's the combat and disabled veteran benefit. If you served in certain combat times or you have been disabled in war or in your service as a veteran, you can also apply for the benefit and have your property removed from the lien sale. So basically, there are a number of different steps. It can cost you $0 or as much as you can afford, but there are steps that you can take to remove yourself from the lien sale. And that's what we wanted to get across to you today. Now, here on our website, if you need to contact individuals about your situation, maybe your situation is a little bit different, a little more complex, there are contact numbers that you can reach out for. If we, I'll mention this too, that today there's a WebEx event at 12 noon. The links are here on the website where the representatives from the various departments will be there. If you yourself can't log on, maybe someone from your office can log on, you can speak or ask questions directly, and they'll have that information for you there. Scrolling down, you'll see the contact information for the various departments if you go down. Here's the virtual events. And it says, get help. And here are the various departments that you can call and to receive assistance. I want to leave some time for questions, and so I'll stop there. The key takeaway, though, is to, by all means, take an action if you are eligible for lien or you know someone who does. And let me just say this, that we're in a unique situation, and who knows what it's going to be down the road. But right now, we're making at the Department of Finance, we're making special arrangements to bring this type of virtual information to every community board that we can, every elected office that we can, elected officials office that we can in the month of October. Just reach out to us and say, we would like to have a brief session, maybe 30 minutes or so, to get updated on what the latest things are and find out how to disseminate this information into the community. So now I'll open it up for some questions.
All right, thank you. So I'm just going to stop sharing the screen for now for questions, but if you need it for anything, for answers, just let me know.
Okay. That's great. Thank you for the presentation, Mr. Sharp. That it was very informative. But let's see if we have any questions. Chris?
Yeah, so one hand raised so far. Bronx Community Board 5, that's Ken, right?
Yep, you got it. Thank you, Mike. Good to hear from you again. I have 2 questions, please. One is, what are the firewalls to prevent banks or other credit making institutions getting access to people that have gotten exemptions from the lien sale? And What's the processing time on the applications for exemptions, and does interest accrue during that processing time? Thanks, Mike.
Okay. The processing time does vary. When a person is awarded the exemption, they will go back to the time in which the exemption was received, and you're interested in you're considered as having the benefit when we get the application if you are approved. As far as firewalls from banks and the others, I'm not quite sure what you might be referring to. It is public information, the fact that a person may have been on the lien. We encourage everyone to, that's why we encourage everyone to just deal with the city and the agencies that are sort of collecting these funds, because there are a lot of predatory lenders out there and a lot of scams. Hey, I'll get you off the lien sale if you do this. Oh, bring your deed. So don't get involved with any of that. Deal with the resources that are on the website and reach out. We'll forward information about ombudspersons and others that you can call and speak to someone about your situation before you take any deals from creditors or quote unquote assistance.
Okay, Ken, did that answer your question?
Oh, yeah, that's fine, Mike. So if I was a predatory creditor or something like that, I could go to DOF and see a list of people that are on the lien?
It's actually published in the newspaper.
Oh,
They're not on the lien, they're just eligible. They have back debt and they have owed it for a certain amount of time. For the DOF, it's $1,000 for 3 years or more. And this is public information, like a lot of our tax and property information is public information. And they can see that.
Right. Can I just say something in terms of just jumping in, because unfortunately, people may not pay attention, which is probably not really what's going on, but they are not watching, or they get a certain debt, especially if it's a senior and they don't want to pay, they may think they don't have the money or whatever. So then because of that, we become eligible for someone to take advantage because they're not reaching out to the Department of Finance. They are sort of avoiding the issue. And then someone can come in and say, oh, because the Department of Finance is not going to call them up and cajole them and have a conversation with them. It might be a predator that's going to do that. That's going to put them in that, oh, yeah, I know it's hard, right? Okay. And this is what we're going to need to do. So in a way, we can't really ask Mr. Church about those things, because those are things that the predatory people would do to cajole them into these bad deals and putting themselves into bad situations. I think the Department of Finance for being here to talk about what they're doing proactively, that the information is there. I think we should be encouraging people to go to the Department of Finance and say, hey, let's not put our heads in the sand about debt and so forth. Let's just, reach out to that particular entity and face it head on. Do we have any other questions for Mr.
Yes. This is Emmanuel from Community Board 7.
Emmanuel.
My question is, Mr. Sharp, does the Department of Finance at any point, let's say after a certain amount of years, do they sell off any of the bad debt that's been uncollectible?
Well, the lien sale, I guess the process is that this, you call it quote unquote bad debt, is bought by a nonprofit trust. The nonprofit trust then pays the city those funds that they couldn't collect under normal circumstances. So now the homeowner no longer has a bill with the city. The city has been paid that money from this trust fund. They now pay the two collection entities that the city has pre-selected, Tower and MTAG, I believe it's called, and they now owe the money to them. There are additional fees, and the interest rates aren't as favorable at times as they are if you just pay or deal with the city directly. So after the lien sale, the city no longer is looking to collect that money from a homeowner. They've been paid. Your homeowner still has your current taxes to pay though. So now there is the lien servicer with a bill and your regular tax bill. They both have to remain paid or you'll get into lien trouble again. So that's why we encourage everyone to come forward and deal with us or deal with the entities before that step happens. Make an arrangement. Make an arrangement or take one of the programs.
So we do have another hand raised, John Dudley.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Hey, what's happening, Mike? Mike, let me just ask you, I know it's water, real property, sewer, emergency repair program liens. What's alternative enforcement charges?
That I'm not sure. I'll have to look that up for you.
Thanks. No problem, man.
Yeah, but so is that something that puts someone on the lien? Sounds like something regarding a repair or something, but I'll look it up and I'll email you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Deputy, I think that's all the hands that we had raised.
And I would just want to say that, please, it doesn't take long to transfer this type of information and to put this information into your communities, your homeowner associations, your tenant associations for like the rent freeze program and other things, civic associations, your senior committees. We just want to maybe we can get with you briefly, virtually, to make sure you know how to navigate the website and share this information. We can do it in the next 30 days because who knows what the situation will be down the road. We could all be back to normal or we could be locked down again. And you really should know how to give people information that can help themselves. And we are willing and able to get out here and do that with you. We want to do it virtually. Please reach out to us and schedule something. We'll be in contact with you, but I just want to reiterate that invitation.
All right. Thank you, Deputy.
Yeah, did it again. So our next presenter is from New York City Commission on Human Rights. We have Orlando Torres, Director of Bronx Community Service Center. Mr. Torres.
Thank you so much, Madam Deputy President. Hi, everyone. Good morning. My name is Orlando Torres. I am the Director of the Bronx Community Service Center at the City Commission on Human Rights. And I just want to thank everyone for giving me a little bit of time today at this meeting to discuss some of the ideas that our agency, along with folks from the Borough President's office, had about working more closely together. So last week, just to give some context, our Deputy Director, Frank Joseph, and I met with Marisol, Tom, Murtha, and Vivian from the Borough President's office just to discuss what a kind of ongoing programming partnership would look like between the City Commission on Human Rights and the community boards of the borough. Before I talk more about that, let me just talk about a little bit about what the Commission on Human Rights does, just for folks who maybe haven't interacted with us as much and don't know. So the Commission on Human Rights is the city agency that enforces the city human rights law. It's a specific human rights law to the 5 boroughs. And we help educate the public on their rights and responsibilities under this law. This law basically makes discrimination and harassment in employment, in housing, and in public accommodations, and some other areas illegal in New York City, right? So we provide free legal services for people who live or work in New York City. And we also conduct workshops and trainings for groups, really in almost any setting, whether it be, schools, places of employment, places of worship, so that, communities can understand the law better and take full advantage of the resources of the agency, right? So we want to work closer with our community boards across the city, really. So this conversation is happening in the other boroughs as well, to streamline our trainings and resources so that all members of community boards have access to workshops and the resources of the local offices. So I'm the director of the Bronx office. Every borough has a community service center that kind of represents the agency in the borough. So every CSC is working with their borough community boards to kind of have this conversation and get the ball rolling in terms of workshops for board members. We just think that like a greater understanding of the human rights law for all be really positive, not just to the community boards internally themselves, but to the communities that they serve and educate, right? So, our goal is that board members leave these workshops with a better understanding of what is and is not acceptable under the human rights law in New York and in their places of employment and communities, but also that they'll be better equipped to identify potential cases of discrimination and harassment when it's brought to their attention by constituents, right? We just want folks to, basically be aware of the law, what is and isn't jurisdiction under the law in terms of discrimination and harassment, and we want to help make that happen. So, we have a really wide range of workshops and trainings that we usually offer to the community members, and staff. In human rights protections, as I mentioned, in places of employment, in places of public accommodations, in housing, as far as disability protections for folks in any of those areas, sexual harassment, immigrant rights, etc. There's a whole list of protected classes under our law. I forwarded that list to Marisol yesterday. I'm not sure if it was distributed yet, but I can definitely send that in the chat box. When I'm done with this, with my little spiel here. So we can offer workshops specific to, a protected class under our law, or we can offer a workshop to a specific area, like employment protections and protected classes in employment, for example. And each workshop can be adjusted for time constraints or stuff like that. Ideally, we usually like to have about an hour to an hour and a half, just to make sure that there's plenty of time for discussion and questions from the group. But our goal is to just make this an ongoing kind of conversation and relationship with all our community boards. So sometimes coming back maybe twice a year, once a year, it's totally on the table, and we'd be happy to do that. So in our conversation last week with folks from the borough president's office, we kind of came up with two ways that our work together could take shape in the short term. So number one, we talked about commission staff. So maybe my colleague Belindason, and some of you might know her. She's been with us for years. We'd like to come in and speak at any new board member orientations that are happening. We understand that there wouldn't be a lot of time, probably not nearly enough time to go through a workshop, but even if it's just to introduce ourselves, make sure new members know who we are, and kind of introduce the idea that there is a human rights law here that is here for folks, and also that we will be kind of doing these workshops with the different community boards. Just kind of introducing that idea, at the start, we feel that could be, helpful. I'd like to do that, and I'm sure I'll be working with Tom and others to figure out when and where that can take place. And then the other thing is that we want to begin to schedule conversations with specific board staff members, the district service cabinet chairs, or committee chairs or board chairs, whoever would make the most sense depending on the board for us to coordinate with, just to talk about what specific workshops and trainings the boards might be interested in having their members attend, right? So like I said, it can be specific to a protected class or a couple of different protected classes that are maybe particularly relevant to a board, or it can be our kind of general human rights law one-on-one workshop. We're open to any possibility. Again, we're open to coming back multiple times for different workshops. So it really is, we want to tailor it to each board to prioritize. So those are the kind of the two things that I wanted to kind of get the ball rolling just by talking to you here today and introducing those ideas. I'm happy to begin, that process right now even. I mean, I didn't want to take too much time, so we could leave time for maybe just if folks want to just let me know if we should talk like today or tomorrow, or obviously, next week individually about what that could look like for the board. That would be great. So right now, just so everyone knows, the Bronx office, as far as staff, as far as like full-time Bronx staff, it's just Belinda and I. Pretty understaffed, but what that means is that you can be sure I'll be aware of any request or question that you may have about the programming, because this is going to be an ongoing priority for this office moving forward. So I think I'm going to leave it there and first I'll just ask, are there any questions right now? Oh, and I can see that the list of protected classes is up on the screen. Thank you, Chris.
Sure, no problem. Let me just...
Yes. So, Chris, are there any questions?
Yeah, no, I don't see any raised hands at the moment. But just a reminder, if anybody does have a question, hit the raise hand icon in the WebEx software or hit *9 if you're on a telephone only. At the moment, there's no questions that I see.
Okay. I'll just say then, as maybe we wait a little bit, that my contact information is at the very top of the chat. I think I'm the second comment there. Orlando Torres, CCHR Bronx CSC Director. My email and my work cell are there. We'll be reaching out to every board anyway. But if you want to just shoot me a quick message in the chat or call or email today, feel free, and you'll be kind of first on the list as far as we'll start having this conversation with.
Thank you, Mr. Torres. Do we have any questions that popped up in terms of, our time while we were waiting?
Nope, still no questions.
That's okay. I mean, I think, obviously, as you have mentioned, if there's anything that comes up or pops up in terms of questions later, you have Mr. Torres' information in the chat. Go in there and take that information, because we're getting to the end of the meeting. And at this time, we want to thank Mr. Torres and Mr. Sharp for their presentations. We'll move forward with any announcements from anyone else, any community board announcements or any other agencies who would like to take a moment and speak quickly about on anything. So I'm rambling, but hopefully I'm giving people a little bit of time to raise their hands electronically, or press *9 on your phone and let us know that you have something to say. I'm starting to sound like a radio DJ.
I just wanted to congratulate Ralph Acevedo on the birth of his brand new baby girl. So our community board number 2, he has a brand new baby girl. She was just born a couple of days.
Thank you so much, Gloria. I appreciate that. Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
Wow, congratulations. And
Thank you, Madam Deputy.
You're up at this hour with us with a brand new baby. Oh, congratulations on that too.
Yes, it's been a couple of days challenging getting adjusted. But my wife and I, we're in heaven. God sent the baby is, and we're grateful and humble. So thank you.
That's good.
Oh, and now she's being heard. I love
They're in the background.
woman
Yes.
already being heard.
Yes. Yes. Thank you, Madam Deputy, and thank you, Gloria, for that.
Excellent. Congratulations.
So in terms of hands raised, we have a couple. Williams Jermaine.
Did you tell us her name, Ralph?
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. Isabella Rose. She was born Monday the 21st. She came in at 7 pounds, 20 inches.
Congrats. Chris, you were saying you have some hands up?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So Williams Jermaine is the first user here with the hand up. So go ahead.
Yes. Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me? Hear me okay? Okay. Thank you. So I'll make it real quick. Jermaine Williams from HRA Intergovernment Affairs. As some of the community board members may know, that in light of all that's going on with HRA, they've been doing some reassignments. So I've actually been reassigned to help with processing SNAP applications. And so in the meantime, I am trying to multitask all of this. I'm still trying to do the community board meeting. So if I'm a little late, please forgive me. But with that being said, one of the things I want to definitely mention that all the boards can please take with them is that when we make phone calls, because of how this is set up, a lot of the numbers that are going out are pretty much like unidentified numbers. So I put in the chat, I'm hoping it went through the list of, it's like 4 numbers that normally goes out. So if you have constituents saying, oh, I tried to call HRA, or, just to let them know that these are numbers that are going out, and unfortunately they're not able to call back. And it did come up as a concern during our commissioner's announcement, where we're still looking to seeing how we could actually work this out, where individuals can probably call the numbers back. But for me, I've actually been giving clients that I interview my number, and I do come into the office probably like 2-3 times a week just to clear my voicemail to make sure that they don't have any problems. But that's not to say everybody is doing this. But I do know, just as rule of thumb, like I actually call a client and I let them know, hi, my name is Jermaine Williams. I'm calling from HRA, Human Resource Administration. I know you may be screening your call, so I will call you back in like 10 to 5 minutes. And I do call them back, and I kid you not, they always pick up, because people are really mindful of being, hit with spam calls, or, just being fortunate calls that are not to their best advantage. So I know it does work. But just if you could just let people know, be patient, and hopefully we'll have something set up as the months go on. But I'm glad to see everybody's been safe during this pandemic, and doing healthy, and glad for the newborn. Congratulations. But have a blessed one, and I'll keep you guys posted as updates come along. And thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Next hand.
So New York City Emergency Management, Yokarina Duarte.
Good morning, everyone. I just want to remind that National Preparedness Month, September is National Preparedness Month, and we have a very active hurricane season. So we're encouraging all New Yorkers to find out whether or not they live in a zone, and they make a plan and they get ready for anything that we might encounter. I know some people say they don't live in a zone, which could happen, but if you don't live in a zone, that doesn't mean that if we have another tropical storm, you might lose power or you might have some disruption. So you still need to make a plan And I'll share information in the chat, so how you can find out whether or not you live in a zone, and how you can find information on how to create your own emergency plan. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that information. That's really important. Do you have any other hands?
Yeah, just two more at the moment. Three now, but the next one, John Dudley again. John, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Madam Deputy, I just want to take this opportunity to introduce, he's on now, our new chairperson of Bronx Community Board number 3, Reverend Dr. Bruce Rivera. So I just want to, just for the benefit of everyone who is on the borough board, just to make note of the fact that we have a wonderful new chairperson. Formerly it was Gloria Alston, and as of September 8th, it is Reverend Dr. Bruce Rivera. He's on with us now. So I just wanted to make that note publicly. I put it in the chat box, but I didn't know whether or not you had seen it, So thank you. That's all.
Thank you for that. I did not see, but I had intentions of acknowledging him as well. So I'll open up the floor to Reverend Dr.
Bruce Rivera.
Yeah. I'm trying to see him. That's what the technology is, such that I can't see him, but I know he's
I don't know
there.
if there's the video on.
Okay, well it's not necessary, but he's no stranger to the Bronx, and he's no stranger to many of us on the line. So if he has the ability to unmute himself, we'd love to hear from you and wish you some congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, I certainly want to say thank you to John Dudley for that introduction, and certainly Deputy Borough President. We certainly go back quite some time. I am not. I am quite familiar with everyone who serves on the borough board, and I am certainly grateful that I have an opportunity to join such a distinguished panel of and cadre of fine city citizens and those district managers from all the corresponding boards. Thank you for this opportunity and this welcome. And during this difficult pandemic, certainly I'm glad to know that each and every one of you are well. Unfortunately, I have lost so many people that are near and dear to me during this time. So I am grateful when I have an opportunity to hear and see so many of you who I love and hold in the utmost respect. So all the best to you and yours. May God bless you all.
Thank you so much, and thank you for taking the time to be with us this morning. And we're looking forward to working with you and the rest of the board for many more meetings. Chris, any other hands? You are muted.
Yep, sorry, two more to go. Siri Miranda was next, and we're all capable of not unmuting ourselves in these meetings.
Knows he's on camera
It
too.
happens to the best of us.
Madam Deputy Borough President, very good morning to you and all. So this is Suri Miranda, the South Bronx Borough Director with the Mayor's Office Community Affairs Unit. I wanted to announce, and I'll make sure that I email this to all my community boards, that we're gonna do a round of distribution of face masks in October. So specifically, if folks have any community groups that are interested in distributing face masks, to please reach out. I will put my information in the chat box, but I do have direct communication with the boards that I represent to make sure that if they have any groups are included in this mass distribution. And that's all from me. Thank you very much, and congratulations to Ralph.
Thank you. We know that the face mask will be an issue for some time now, so it's so important that everyone just participate and have these ready resources. Thank you so much, and thank you to the Mayor's Office for that. Chris?
Yep, so one hand raised remaining, Jesue Melendez. I'll unmute the line there. I know you did it. Okay, go ahead.
Good morning, Madam Deputy Borough President and everyone. My name is Josue Melendez. I'm the Government Affairs Officer for the Department for the Aging for the Bronx. I just had a couple of quick messages I wanted to pass along. The first is we are currently running a social isolation campaign. We're trying to encourage older adults who have been feeling isolated, especially during this time, to reach out to us and get involved in one of our friendly visiting programs. Same for anyone who's interested in volunteering in one of those programs. You know, we do think it's very important to keep people connected, and if anyone is interested in doing that kind of work and in reaching out to an older adult, they can contact us through Aging Connect. I'm going to leave the number in the chat. We can connect them to one of our friendly visiting programs. In addition, there was a hearing earlier this week with the City Council regarding senior centers, and I just wanted to reiterate that for the moment, our senior centers are still closed as we're working with Department of Health to develop the best plan to really bring seniors back into those centers. We realize how important they are in the communities and in terms of the lives of our older adults for, with interaction, with them socializing. We just wanted to make sure that everyone is aware we are working to get them open as soon as possible, and that once we have a clear timeline, we're going to put that information out there to everybody.
Thank you. That's awesome. And it's good to have everyone looking out for our seniors, and thank you so much for that. Are we finished? Do we have any other hands?
That is it for hands that were raised. So on that front, we are all set.
Well, I would just like to acknowledge and also announce or make everyone aware that the Borough President's Office is doing a caravan today in the Northeast Bronx for the census. As I began with, I shall end with the census. We are going to be making a lot of noise in the Northeast Bronx, which hopefully will be noticed away from all the other noise in the city of New York, and will serve as a reminder for everyone in this undercounted and hard to count area to take the initiative to go ahead and get counted. And we hope to see some of you on the route that we're traveling, and if you see us, wave to us and come help out. Okay, thank you so much. That would be the end of our meeting.
All right. Justin, go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Sorry I missed you.
Hi. No worries. I'm struggling to figure out how to download WebEx on a phone. But I wanted to make sure, hello everyone. For those of you that don't know me, Justin Sanchez, Director of External Affairs at the Bronx President's Office. I wanted to make an announcement. Yesterday, we had both our HIV/End the Epidemic Roundtable as well as our LGBT Policy Task Force. If you did not receive an email about it and you would like to be involved, please make sure to send me an email or reach out to me at jsanchez@bronxbp.nyc.gov. Again, that is JSANCCHEZ@bronxbp.nyc.gov. If that is too complicated, also feel free to just shoot me a text at 917-608-0069. Again, that number is 917-608-0069. And congrats, Ralph. Okay.
Thank you, Justin. You may not be aware, but I like to have the last word at the meetings. I'm just kidding. Thank you for that information. Everyone has all of your information. So please, that's it. It's definitely something that we as a whole need to support. So please reach out to Justin for that. Now I ask again, any hands or any folks that need to be acknowledged?
Nope, no hands raised. No urgent last-minute text messages or calls from any of the colleagues. Yeah, so I think we're good.
Okay, everyone. As always, a pleasure to have this opportunity to continue to work of the borough with all of you. Thank you so much, and have a great day.